when Watergate started, he helped Carl and I immeasurably. You know, is a very reluctant person in the turmoil of, am I doing the right thing? How do I get this out?
Over 13 years after the identity of Deep Throat was revealed, it turned out a man named Mark Felt, former associate director of the FBI, served as an anonymous source for Washington Post reporters Carl Bernstein and Bob Woodward. His leads proved Watergate ultimately led to the resignation of Richard Nixon. And as it was going down, the president, of course, raged about Woodward and Bernstein. So tonight, fast forward to another presidency dealing with a damaging anonymous source from within as another president rages about Bob Woodward. With us tonight to talk about all of it, Pulitzer Prize-winning author and historian Jon Meacham, who also happens to be an MSNBC contributor. Jon, I'll start with a small question. How does our country and democracy stand tonight in your estimation?
I actually think we're in better shape than we were maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Please tell me how that is possible after the day we just had.
I will tell you, because we're talking about it, and there's increasing evidence. There's facts in a post-truth world. Facts are coming into play. Look at the institutions that have been functioning over the past 3 weeks. The rule of law, the justice system, in terms of the Manafort verdict, the Cohen plea, the CFO of the Trump organization beginning to cooperate. So that's the legal side. We had the emotional national identity element working with the memorials for Senator McCain, really a tribute to an idea that we would put country first. And now we have, both with Bob's book and with the op-ed, we have ever more evidence that things are not as they should be. A lot of people say, well, we've known that forever. Well, yeah, but those aren't the people who wrote the things. That's easy to say if you haven't reported it out and said this. So here we have, for all the issues about anonymous writing and should this person have put their name on it and resigned dramatically, like Cyrus Vance and the Desert One. Leave that aside for a second. This is actually moving toward, it seems to me, a genuine reckoning, because there are facts in evidence that weren't necessarily in evidence when we started the month of August.
Well, let's talk about this person who has written this anonymous piece. Where do you stand on the coward versus traitor versus hero versus trailblazer? And when, I'll go further, when Woodrow Wilson was addled by a stroke in the White House, when Dick Nixon was 3 scotches deep in the evening doing strange things walking down the hallway, did people on the inside talk, and were we better or worse for the lack of it?
Well, they talked after the fact. That's what's so interesting. You know, and again, Bob Woodward's the common denominator here. Much of what we knew about Nixon talking to the portraits and then worrying that the portraits might talk back, or turning up the air conditioning and building a fire in the Lincoln sitting room and raging, most of that came in a book called The Final Days, which was not published, I think, until 76 or 77. It came after the fact. This is, as ever, Trump has sped everything up. This is a real-time Final Days playing out. It's as if we had this almost a webcam inside the White House to some extent. It's as though what happened today when the New York Times posted that piece is it's rather as though Al Haig, who had been Henry Kissinger aide, became the White House chief of staff after Bob Haldeman was fired or resigned on April 30th of 1973. This is as though Al Haig had decided to anonymously write an op-ed. And a lot of the things that we found out in the books afterward, we found out in real time. That, I think, is one of the reasons I'm somewhat optimistic. At least the facts are unfolding when we still have time to do something about them.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.